represent Alabama Lightwave. I was here back a few months ago to ask you to approve a broadband franchise for our company to operate in Chilton County. If you recall, we are building, or have been building wireless internet in Jemison and now Thorsby over the last 18 months. We have a lot of customers up in that area already that are connected to our service. We have a franchise for the city, those two cities. Now we have customers outside of the city limits that want to be connected to our system. We don't have a franchise that authorizes us to operate in the county. So I'm here to ask you to move that through the system and see if you could approve that, but to give us the right to operate outside the city.
I talked to the ACCA, that's the County Commissioners Association attorney, about another matter, and that came up.
Okay.
If we offer exclusive rights, we have to bid it. So
Well,
we would have
ask
to.
you for a non-exclusive franchise.
You can do that like any other business. You can do your business like you want to.
Well, we need a franchise to give us permission to operate in your right-of-way. I mean, that's the traditional expectation of county government is for you to have the right to give us permission to do that. Like, occasionally, we set poles, and they may be in the right-of-way or just like a sign or a utility pole.
Okay, well, if I'm understanding what I learned last week about Central Access, who is doing some of that in the county.
Sure.
You need a right-of-way agreement, and before we can do that, we have to have a plan as where you plan to put the poles and any apparatus, so we know how to grant the right-of-way, because there's different right-of-ways in the county. You have
Sure.
deeded and prescriptive.
Well, the way we structure our document or our agreement is that if you give us the franchise, then part of that agreement or part of this contract that I gave you to review has provisions that we will submit to you a plan for where we're gonna do construction. And then you would be able to that's exactly what you're asking for.
Okay, so you're basically asking us for a right-of-way agreement, not a franchise in our terms.
Well, the franchise, I'm not sure what franchise means in your world, but it's just it's the same as a business license with right-of-way privileges, which would be asked for on a case-by-case basis as we get ready to do any construction.
I think I would have to refer you at this point. I apologize for not getting back with you a couple of weeks ago. I forgot to call you.
Right.
I think you'd have to get with our engineer as far as these agreements, right-of-way agreements.
Yeah, we would do that. I mean, that's spelled out in the document I gave you as to the procedure that we follow everywhere else that we operate. When we decide we want to put a pole somewhere, for example, we get an engineering drawing, we submit it to the county engineer or whoever you designate for permission to proceed. And we don't proceed without consent.
Well, that's what I think I'm understanding. We have to have that. That's the only thing we would grant is that right-of-way agreement. And that would come from our engineer, from your plan.
Right.
I don't know that we can grant you anything beyond that. It's like anybody else getting a business license.
It is similar to just getting a business license and a right-of-way agreement combined into one document.
Yeah, but you have to have the plan. We can't just give you.
Well, we haven't built anything yet. We haven't engineered anything, and we haven't proceeded to the construction phase. We need an agreement with the county to operate here.
Well, if I might interrupt you and ask our engineer, Heath, am I correct or am I off base that we have to have his plan and you put a right-of-way agreement together for us to vote on?
That's correct. We allow utilities to submit us plans and specifications of what they want to put on right-of-way, and we do give approval.
It's the same way we operate with the state of Alabama. If we're gonna set a pole in the state right-of-way.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You need to get your plan together with Heath and let him draw it up, or get with you and draw it up, and then bring it to us to vote on, and that's the way it'll be handled. I mean, we can't handle it any other way, because we can't just give you a blanket right-of-way agreement.
I'm not asking for,
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's what you are, but in other words, the way you're asking is that.
I think he's asking for permission permission to do business in Chilton County?
That's right.
That's all he's asking.
Well, all you gotta do is go to the probate office and take, get a business license.
Well, you know, we could probably do that, but you'd probably want us to pay you part of our revenue for operating in the county, wouldn't you?
Oh, yes, sir, most definitely.
Well, wouldn't you want us to have an agreement about how we're gonna do that?
Well, we gotta know where you,
Is there a certain size pole that you were planning on putting up? Because sometimes we've had utilities want to put up very large poles on
No,
the
ours are smaller, they're about 35.
35 feet. Timber, wood poles?
In most cases, they're treated as precision. We don't use creosote.
Okay. And they would have, on them, they have an antenna or something?
Have
They
a-
have an antenna on them?
Yes, yeah, we're a wireless internet provider. So the equipment we put up has small distance.
Okay.
There's 50 foot.
And some of these, sometimes these, they want to put them every couple hundred yards.
Well,
How
we
often
don't,
would you go down the road?
we don't do that. That's not our
good idea,
style.
you doing this.
We operate, for example, in Denison, we have our primary focus on water. We're not asking you for any permission to put anything on water tank.
Mr. Hobson, we've got a time limit, and I don't wanna cut you short of time. You say you're operating in another county,
In Bibb County, yeah.
do you have an agreement with them that we
And
could
also in
see?
Choctaw County, sure. I'll give you a copy of the ones we have. We have 5 franchises in other places.
Well,
just
if
like
we
that.
get a copy, maybe that'd help some. I don't want to deny you, we want you in the county, we want you to operate,
Yes, sir.
'cause you got people in that area who do not have internet
sir.
service,
Yes,
and
sir.
it won't it. So we don't wanna deprive them of getting it, but we
Right.
gotta do it by the rules we have to abide by.
Right.
So if you can leave a copy of that with our engineer,
Well, I brought copies for everybody.
Oh,
For
okay.
anybody who would like to have one. and
Yes, sir.
Especially your attorney who probably might want one, for you to review, and I'll leave them all here, and you can give them
Okay.
to everybody. I'll give one to the engineer on the way out the door.
all right?
So,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And I will be back in touch with you.
I sure do appreciate that, sir. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. All right, Jennifer Carter. And I apologize for him, I failed, you have 5 minutes, Jennifer.
Okay. The only thing I'm asking is that those rocks that was put around the pavilion down at Lake Mitchell Pavilion, Marina, or the boat launch, where we have River Church at, those rocks are so bulky, they need to be packed. My husband's in a power chair, and he's gotten stuck twice in there, and it took 3 of us to get him out. So no handicap individuals that are in wheelchairs, on walkers, power chairs, have easy access to the pavilion down there. So the only thing I can see is to try to pack those rocks down in some way, or try to fix that where it is handicap accessible.
Okay.
Talking about the gravel, right.
Well, it's not gravel, it's rocks.
It's, yeah, right there at the pavilion, so.
What type rocks are they?
It's big gravel. I
Big gravel.
don't know what
So
number.
it's
Crushed
it
stone,
is.
right.
Yeah,
Crushed stone.
Does it
but
have,
Bone already has a, I think he can address that.
Miss Jennifer, I've already discussed it and with Mr. Perkins and, our new,
Director?
park director here to, create a, handicap parking space down there.
Well, now,
And
we park fine down there.
no, this is gonna we're gonna build a sidewalk.
Oh, okay. So you'll have an easy access
Yes,
to go
ma'am.
into it.
Correct,
That would be
ma'am.
great. And then I heard you put 2 cabins at Manuka Park.
Yes, ma'am.
And if we could get one of those handicap accessible.
Whenever we start our new process or our changes is gonna be up at Manuka, we're planning on having some more cabins up there and we're gonna get some that's handicap accessible.
Sounds great.
We've already planned all this.
Okay. So you're planning on putting in a,
We're planning on putting a new campsite up at Manuka with more cabins, and there's gonna be some that's handicap accessible.
okay, and then at Lake Mitchell, you're gonna put in a sidewalk so they
Yes,
can
ma'am.
get into the pavilion.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
y'all so much, and y'all have done a great job down there.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
it'll
Jennifer.
meet all ADA standards, right?
That's correct.
Okay, that part.
Okay, that's all public comments. Mr. Tim Little, you're up next.
Good evening. Here with a few requests. First one, if my list looks like y'all's, is, request a resolution approve reclassification for Michelle Headley in the reappraisal department. Do y'all have that? Okay. Any questions?
All right, anybody got any questions? Okay,
Okay. Number two, request a resolution to approve pay raises for Angela Fulmer, Revenue Department, Kyle Dennis, and, Appraisal Department. Y'all should have that information also.
all right, anybody got any questions on that one? All right,
Resolution advertised to fill a vacancy in the as a property tax clerk.
no questions? Okay,
Resolution to approval to purchase a new vehicle for the appraisal department.
okay, anybody got any questions on that?
Do you have a vehicle's gonna be surplus?
Yes, we do, and that's next, is the surplus one.
Okay.
I got one question,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dillard, on the, it comes from the reappraisal budget. Can you, there's four of us that's new,
Mm-hmm.
right? So a little on-the-job training here. Can you explain how that reappraisal budget works?
I'll do my best right here.
All right.
But, the state funds, they send some extra funding up here for the reappraisal department. And what that is to do all our reviews, whatever. The state has one employee that's in our office, that's there all the time. And she doesn't work for me, we don't work for her, but, she's kinda our ears and, well, the state's ears and eyes for Chilton County. Make sure we're doing everything like the state asks us to do.
All right, so, but the reappraisal budget comes from the state.
Mm-hmm.
The county, but the county oversees the budget, just don't set the budget, correct?
That's correct. The state,
All
they have to pre-approve this thing. Ms. Sylvia can tell me exactly, but it's gotta be done usually in August. Yes.
Okay. And what's-
And that money for that vehicle, we've had that money in the budget for the last 2 years and haven't been able to get a vehicle. Vehicles been short since COVID and, well, the state told me if I didn't spend it this time, it's gonna take it away from me.
Right,
So that's kinda where we at.
yeah. So, and what is that vehicle actually used for?
The appraisers go out to reappraise, well, all the properties. Every year, we have to go out and reevaluate 25% of the properties in the county. And any new properties, anytime we get a deed, anytime you record a deed, property changing hands, they have to go out and it's a field vehicle.
Okay,
And some of these places, mainly these non-county maintained roads and stuff, some of them that's kind of boogers.
right, okay. And it doesn't, now that was the truck that was shown in our attachment, correct?
Yes, sir, that's just a picture of
Well,
a truck.
Yeah,
It's gonna be it'll be white, whatever it is, ain't gonna be black. And that's the only one we can get right now.
is
And
it
it's
the only one that's available to get, or the only one we could?
well,
It's on state bid.
it's on the state bid,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. All right,
And any other questions
Any
on
other
that one?
questions? All right,
Okay, and then, I don't wanna walk out of here and forget this. Resolution approved, for surplus of a 2010 Ford Explorer.
okay. Anybody got any questions on that? All right, thank you, sir. All right, Commission Office, Miss Sylvia.
I think in your package you had budget amendments for the two parks. The budget was actually changed. increase, so we will have to ask for a budget amendment. This is due to the new hires at Higgins Ferry and Manuka Park.
Okay. Any questions? All right.
Also, you will find in your packet a petty cash policy for animal control. In the past, we've not had a petty cash policy because we didn't keep cash. We didn't do cash transactions for the commission. The only reason they need cash is to make change. So, and then that's noted in the changes. That'll be added to our policies and procedures for our financials.
All right, anybody got any questions on the petty cash? Okey-doke.
Chilton Clanton Library Board nominations is a second meeting. I don't think anyone was nominated last time, but Paula Mitchell was recommended by the board.
If somebody wants to make that nomination official tomorrow night? Yeah, tomorrow night, okay.
And, okay, we were looking at applications for a credit card only to make reservations or to pay fees for conferences, that sort of thing. I checked with two banks that we currently do business with. Both offer, of course, the rate was not really an issue because we pay them at the end of the month. But both of them offered cashback rewards. So we have two good candidates for a credit card for that purpose.
Okay,
And that's all I have.
all right. Transit.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Just need to request permission for a new hire, Vanessa Stone, to begin on January 29th at the pay rate attached.
Okay. Any
And
questions? All right,
Request a resolution for the chairman to sign all the documents relating to the yearly fiscal year 26 grant application.
all right, got anybody got any questions on that? Okay, thank you,
All right,
ma'am.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, Heath Sexton, engineer.
Thank you, Commission. Appreciate your time. First, I'd like to talk about surplusing a 2023 Kenworth dump truck. This dump truck was part of the 8 that was supposed to be sold last March and June.
That's the one that was wrecked.
It was in an accident and it was repaired, and we're looking at disposing of it in the March 2025 J.M. Wood auction. I can. Normally, we reach out to J.M. Wood, and they provide counties with two options. One is to auction it off with no guarantee of how much it'll sell for at a certain % commission, and also an option for providing us a guarantee that if it sells for less than their guaranteed amount, they would still assume that it sold for the guarantee amount. And they take a commission out, and their commission's usually 1 or 2% higher, percent points higher. And I received a proposal from them this afternoon. I think the guarantee was a little low at $180,000. I expected, I think the trucks we sold last year were around 220, 225, something like that. So I have asked them to come out and take a look at it and see if they can give us a better offer. The other, so that would be at the 7% commission. And the other proposal option that we have is just to sell it absolute with no guarantee at 5%. So I might recommend we just hold off on this until until the next commission meeting and see if they can up their guarantee, and then we can make more of a informed decision.
Have we already surplused it?
I don't think so. I don't think we did.
Well, we can go in and surplus it tomorrow night.
Well, let's just hold on to that just in case we need an emergency. I don't think we'll need it, but typically when we surplus equipment, we take it off insurance. So
All right.
let's just hold off on that. Next, I've got unfortunate news that, our administrative assistant, Michelle, has given us her resignation. She plans to go work for the circuit clerk. So she's looking forward to that job. She'll still be in the courthouse. But her last day with us will be, Wednesday. So,
Okay.
with that, I was going to ask approval to advertise for that position in Tillfield. Next, the Rebuild Alabama Annual Grant. County Road 42 is a high-traffic road, and since we have to get this application in by February 7th, we went ahead and thought that might be a good one to widen 2.2 miles of it, so we've got traffic counter down, and I'll ask her approval to submit the County Road 42 project for our Rebuild Alabama application for fiscal year '25.
Okay.
Next, I just wanted to give an update that there is a new grant fund called the Logging Efficiency Grant Fund Program. And basically, this was through the Forestry Department. And all counties can apply for bridge structures or culverts to be repaired or replaced. The maximum grant awarded per applicant would be $400,000. The total amount that they will give total grant funds for the program is going to be about $2 million a year. So we have 3 weight-restricted bridges, and if that's all right, we'll look at going ahead, proceeding, try to find out which one would be the best one
You
to
ain't submitted it yet?
do March 7th.
Okay.
So I was just going to give an update, and if you know of any structures, it could be pipes or anything, the program is looking to take a restricted road that is currently restricted to timber to 80,000-pound limits and being able to improve it so that fully loaded log trucks can cross.
Okay.
So just, also in the attachments, I have was provided a letter from AlDOT. They're proposing to widen the I-65 bridges over Walnut Creek, and they were just looking for any input from the public or for public officials. So I wanted to add that to the attachments just for your information. If you have anything that you like, any concerns you may have that you want to present to AlDOT.
I think everybody got one, didn't they?
Only concern I would have is, do they know what time frame as far as time of year they're gonna start this project?
We could reach out to them and ask.
I mean, that'd be my only concern if they, I mean, we have bad enough traffic problem in the summer and spring with traffic coming down. If they gonna start a project in the middle of the summer, I'd much rather them have, I mean, I guess construction's sometimes restricted in the winter, but at least pick some month that's not so busy, like June, July, and August timeframe. We wouldn't, that'd be my only concern.
Go ahead and build it for 6 lanes.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
something.
I don't know how much good our input is down there on that anyway.
Yeah.
This is checking the box courtesy.
Yeah. Gripe all you want about 65 traffic, they ain't doing nothing. All right, what else you got, Heath?
Also, it's not on the agenda, but I wanted to give an update on our County Road 49 project. We have 2 projects, a federal aid project for widening the road and replacing guardrail, and also have a county-sponsored project for coming over that with a wearing surface. Included in that project is something called a surface treatment to seal the cracks. This surface treatment a lot of times is left as the final surface in some roads. It's basically what's called tar and gravel, and you have the gray rock. But in these applications, we don't plan on it being the last surface. We're putting plant mix on top of it, and it's being used to seal the road. The AlDOT specifications usually call for this to be placed when it's 60 degrees and rising, and also AlDOT usually has a seasonal limitations where they really don't want it placed between November and February because of the cold. Because it was not the final surface as is kind of the specifications for AlDOT, and it is just a middle layer for sealing, we did try to give Wiregrass opportunity to try to a test lane down on the southern part of 24. And I was out there and all of our inspectors. And that day, I believe they started when it was a little bit cool. It started when it was about 55 degrees. And as it started warming up, we could tell that it became tackier, which is what you're looking for. You don't want to become liquid, you want to become thick, I guess. And we did notice that the most important thing was the rock was sticking to the tires of the paver and even the rollers. And what that was doing in some parts, it was pulling it up a little bit. So I believe it was still sealing the cracks like it was, but I didn't feel real comfortable just continuing with that project, continuing to allow them to do that kind of out of seasonal limitations. And so we told them that, and they have sent me a request to see if they can get a waiver, and they give us a materials guarantee, that if it doesn't conform specifications and doesn't look good, that they'll take it up and do it again. However, I would just recommend that we stick with just keep them to the seasonal limitations, since we tried it and it didn't work as good as it should have.
I have to agree with you. That's no sense putting it down and having a road that looks and drives like
Yeah.
the Dickens. No, I think you need to hold them to the seasonal, my opinion.
We do try to work with the contractors, anything reasonable, and we gave it a good effort, and I just don't think it worked out.
Okay. All right.
That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
On that, Heath, are the roads safely passable the way that they're leaving them?
Yes, when they clip the shoulders, they are pulling a bank back, and they're supposed to, at the end of the day, each day pull the material back flush with the asphalt.
Okay.
There was an issue where they left one or two driveways
Right,
undone one
yes.
day, and
That's what
residents had a difficult time, and we were able to go that night and open them back up. And as far as the south side of 24, they did do the one lane. That does leave a rise where they put the asphalt of 1.5 inches, but that is below the two inches that it can be left.
Okay.
So, and they did put traffic stripes, so it should be safe.
Okay, thank you.
So we're looking at probably 2 months before they can get back on it.
That's right, March at the earliest.
Okay. All right, thank you, Heath. Okay, Donald Giles.
Yeah. I'm gonna be asking for a resolution to hire for the Parks and Recreation. 1 full-time assistant park manager, 1 full-time caretaker, and 3 part-time caretakers for the Park and Recreation.
Okay.
Chilton County.
Anybody got any questions? All right.
We add to the staff, or is this replacing somebody, or?
We have one to resign at Manuka, and we already had 1 full-time that resigned a little bit back, and hadn't been filled.
Yeah, it replaces 2 and then adds 2.
And two. All right, any more questions?
No, we do have a work day schedule for Saturday too, if y'all wanna come up. Yeah. Just saying. Yes, ma'am.
A lot of hacking in.
No, ain't no hiking. Oh, no, you might be hiking.
I might take on the hiking.
All right,
That's all I have.
thanks, Don.
Sorry about that.
Okay, animal control. And, before we let you start, would one of y'all like to introduce our new animal control director?
Okay, this is Miss Christina Bullock. She is the Animal Control Director.
Nice to meet you guys.
Who has taken on a challenging but rewarding in the end job. So welcome her to the county.
Thank you. Asking for a new hire for Victoria Culp, full-time for an Animal Control Tech 2 position, with the pay rate shown on your attachments. And for Brianna Santos, a full-time Animal Control Tech 1, same pay rate shown on the attachment. And Brianna Kulis for a full-time animal control tech 1, shown at the pay rate on your attachment.
All right.
Questions?
Anybody have any questions for Christina? All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, commissioners. Commissioner Billingsley. Commissioner Bone.
I think I'll hold off till tomorrow night.
Commissioner Childress.
I do, Chair. Just to give an update, Christina's doing a great job down there. She and her staff are going through and cleaning that place like it hasn't been cleaned, at least lately. We are, we're doing some clearing. I'd like to thank, Steve Chastain. Steve's in here right now, and he has been down there spending his own money, using his own equipment, trying to get that vacant lot beside us cleaned up enough that it's usable. We've got a lot of dogs down there, and these young ladies have to walk these dogs, and it's best to get them away from the shelter, because when they're walking, they're doing other business. And so this is going to help us in that regard. And of course, it's the new property where the new building hopefully will be built soon. Until we get the new building built, we're going to invest in the older building to try to bring it up to par. We are. I'm still working through some quotes. I've got 2 that I'm waiting on. Kind of redesigned what I was looking for on the roof, so going back to a couple of my roofers, the roofers that bid, and letting them give me a new bid on some of the roof work. Operations, IT's been down there trying to set us up. It's been an issue, actually. Has that been resolved, Christina, with AT&T? Yes. Okay, good. Fantastic, good news. So for a while, she was having to run the shop down there on her hotspot off of her phone, so we didn't have internet. So we've got the IT up and running. We've got the computers there. We had to buy all new computers and new Square for electronic funds transfer. She's getting shop set up to where the Humane Society documents we could not use. We have to have Chilton County documents, Chilton County animal control documents. All that's being set up. So we're making progress. You know, it's been 15 days maybe. I'm not real sure how long it's been, but we're making progress. And if you know someone that needs an animal, there's some beautiful animals down there that hopefully will be ready for adoption soon. I would like to, I'm going tomorrow night to ask for a resolution for an emergency hire part-time. This will be limited to 28 hours or less per week. It'll be at a Tech 2? Temporary, thank you, temporary part-time. It'll be at Tech Level 2. The monies are already within the budget, so there won't be any additional funds added to the budget. And I'll be recommending Steve Chastain for that part-time temporary position.
All right. Any questions on anything with animal control? All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Commissioner Hall.
Good.
Commissioner Headley.
I'm sorry, can I add one thing? Wanted to thank the chair for his efforts down there, Commissioner Hall for her efforts helping to clean, Heath and our engineer, and he sent the road department over to clear some trees out in front, and we've got a lot of compliments on getting those things out. They've caused rot on our fascia and soffit, and I did mention Christina and her group, and I don't want to leave anyone out.
Inmates.
And the inmates, it's the sheriff allowing us to go and pick up inmates, and the inmates have been fantastic. I mean, those guys get down there and they get after it, and they're willing to come back anytime we'll have them. So thanks everyone for pouring in.
All right. Okay, Commissioner Perkins.
Well, I didn't, but I do. Since I forgot to call us in. What we're proposing to do, and we'll be asking for a resolution, is an hours change to be had at Manuka Park. Currently, it's open 5 days a week from 9 to 5. We're wanting it to go from, stay at 9 to 5 currently, to 7 days a week. The trail riding will be closed on Monday and Tuesday for maintenance, but not the park. The park would remain open to fishing, the pickleball, basketball, all the amenities, picnicking, doing whatever you want to do. But the trail riding would be closed on Monday and Tuesday only for maintenance, 9 to 5, and then beginning April the 1st through September the 30th, we would change the hours from 8 to 8. And then, of course, go back in the fall and the winter when it slows it back down. So that's what we're going to propose for tomorrow.
Okay. Anybody got any questions on the hours for Manuka Park? Okay. All right, now it's my turn. Subdivision regulations, the reason that's on there is to confirming the time, the date of everybody on the meeting. So we're February the 20th at 6:30. Okay, we'll be in courthouse number 1, 6:30 on the 20th to discuss some proposed changes to the subdivision regulations, and it'll be open to the public. It'll be civil, but we will have discussion from anybody who has desire to say anything.
February 20th.
February 20th.
February 20th, 6:30. And in our mind, the way we see it happening is we want to introduce what we went over as far as proposed possible changes, and then have basically a Q&A session. So it'll be a little bit different than the last time. We're just going to hear some feedback, Q&A on the proposed changes, and then anybody that wants to have an opinion or ask some stuff about anything else that might be in there, we'll be there for questions. So.
And we can contrast the proposed changes with the current language and the.
Correct.
And so we'll try to make it as clear as possible. But
And those changes can be found on our website. Anybody want to see them? Okay, thank you, sir. And it's amazing how a couple of words change can get a bunch of people out here to our meeting, and I'm glad to see y'all. So, the discussion was repairing the cattle barn, and I think I might have said somebody about tearing it down and just selling material, and lo and behold, that's what's on the agenda. So, I got a few calls over the weekend, and James Robert Parnell contacted the office, and I talked to him today, and I told him he could come and he could speak. Maybe he has in mind for that cattle barn.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams, for having me and allowing me the opportunity to speak before the commission tonight. Appreciate y'all having me. Thank you, Miss Sylvia, for your help this morning. No, I just coming on behalf of the Cattlemen's Association. I'm the current Secretary Treasurer of the organization, and as y'all all know, we are the tenants of the beef barn, or the Cattlemen's building as referred to in the agenda. And we just wanted to voice our position on the building. A little history about the building. It was constructed in 1976. The purpose was to host agricultural sales, meetings, shows, fairs, etc. The kitchen portion was added on in 1983. And sometime in the early 90s, the county did repaint the open air portion of the building. To my knowledge, that is the only improvements that have been made to the building since it was built. A building that's 49 years old needs some attention, and we're all aware of that. The Cattlemen's organization understands that, and we just it has been rumored about possibly tearing down the building and disposing of it. Well, we don't want to see that, because we want to ensure that the youth in the county and state have a place, have a venue here in our county where they can exhibit their livestock projects, and we want to be sure that that happens. Our entire organization is dedicated to the purpose to promote the beef cattle industry and to use that industry as a vehicle to develop the youth in our community. And so we're all on board to help any way we can. I know over the last few years, the beef barn has been a topic that has come up in several commission meetings. The commission has asked us to do some things on our end, such as hire a lawn care service, and we have entered into a contract agreement with a lawn care company to maintain the facilities. And we have also purchased the panels to take that liability off of the county per request of the commission. So we're trying to help any way we can. Obviously, we're limited. We're a small association, but we're trying to do the most that we can for the youth in the community. And we just ask that the commission will keep that in mind as they make the decision on what to do with that building moving forward.
Well, the reason for the discussion, the reason I put it down here so we could talk about the insurance, they didn't tell us no occupancy, but I don't think they were smiling about that building. The purlings, I don't know if everybody here knows it, but the purlings and the roof over the shed are rotten. They've got to be replaced. I think I was telling one of the fellow commissioners today, a good snow, like they had in Mobile, and that roof's gonna be on the ground. It won't stand up to it. The young man I had out there giving us a ballpark appraisal on it, the roof was crunching, and you know when metal goes to crunching, you're walking under it. And the roof on top of the arena is bad. It's gotta be replaced. I'm not sure about the purlins in there for sure. He looked at them and said he thought they would, but we hadn't been up in there. But we're looking at probably $60,000 plus of repair on that, and we would have to justify that $60,000. So I put in an inquiry at the state today about an allocation, and he said, well, there may be a couple of organizations, and if they're willing to help us on it, then we can do it. But I'm afraid we're going to have to do these repairs, or we're going to have to make a decision otherwise on the building. And as most in this room know, I've been probably as many calf shows out there from 79 until 2000, 2001, when I worked for the news, covering those things. And I know what they mean to a lot of the youngins in schools. So now, that is not our goal, is to do away with that part of it. Trying to figure out how we can make it, keep the building up.
That's right.
And make it efficient, or we'll have to tear it down if it's unsafe.
I think the
But no decision was
improvements-
gonna be made this week on what to do with that building. It was just, we were gonna talk about it. And I'm kinda glad Brittany took my words literal when I said that and put it down, because it got more talk than we've had from communication than we've had from anybody in the cattlemen's group in 4 years I've set up here.
Yes, sir.
And didn't mean for it to happen this way, but I'm kinda glad it did, because,
Well, we'd love to be included in the conversation, so, and we'd love to help any way we can.
well, you definitely can,
There's a
and,
lot of counties all over this state that would love to have a facility like that and are trying to get federal and state dollars to do something like that. We've already got it here in the county, and I think that, the $60,000 number you threw out, yeah, it's a big number, I understand. And I know y'all are trying to manage a budget.
Yeah.
But if you were trying to build that facility from scratch, I wouldn't be scared to say it'd be well over $500,000.
that building right there would be about 350,000,
Okay.
as is.
I'd really like to see us try to, put some money in the budget to build a new one. We always come up with money with the parks and the Humane Society and some other things, and this thing here does a lot for youth, and I really feel like we could find it to do that if we look.
Well, there's some talks going on that I don't think they want it shared just yet, but there may be a remedy to that somewhere in the very near future. So, and I'm not at liberty to say.
Yes.
But I'm gonna have a talk with the insurance, and if they don't say it's unsafe, y'all can lease it.
Okay.
But if we have to do anything with the building, then, well, if y'all can come up with any funds, or the two people at the state that I talked to today about some funding, if we can get it, then we can fix it.
Yes, sir.
But I know it's a value to y'all.
Well, it's.
I had a question. Mr. Parnell, I appreciate
Yes,
you coming out tonight. I know, after this went out, I fielded several phone calls and some messages, and, But, I did wanna, ask a couple of questions. Is the
I've got
cost
one
of the
too, I
lease,
forgot.
what is the lease on it?
For the lease with the county, 0.
Okay. How many shows a year y'all do?
That number has been varying as of lately. I've got a list here of some events we've had over the last several years. We actually had one this past weekend. It was the Young Farmers Peach Classic Livestock Show. Had about, I believe, 60 calves there from all across the state. We have been hosting the Alabama Bantam Club State, District, and National show. They have a spring show and a fall show, usually 3 shows a year. To be completely transparent with the commission, they have left and gone to Athens, to their facility up there, because of rumor mills about the building getting torn down,
Sure.
and they didn't want to risk not having a facility when their show came up.
Right,
So,
so in your opinion, and probably have some facts back it up, so the shows and things similar, you know, I come from a different background, but it's still attracting revenue from outside sources.
Yes, sir.
We're pulling in money from outside the community, and I'm all with Joe on this, or Commissioner Headley, I'm sorry. But, as far as, I think we need to take a hard look at, really doing something to help the situation out. I think if, it's not just about what we have there now, but it's about what we can have. And if we put a little money into it, just the way that me and Commissioner Bone are going out and attacking this park issue and trying to bring in some higher valued bass tournaments to boost revenue using outside funding, I think the same thing can be done in the agricultural sector, sector too. We live in a county that is agricultural based. So I would hate to see something, you got, just from what he said, you got 3 shows that's leaving off the possibility. Not that it has, but just a possibility. So I think if we would find a way to help them out somehow, that we could retain that and then grow it. And if y'all are all for growing that revenue and bringing more shows to where you had something every weekend out there, I think that would stand
That'd be great.
to be something to do. So.
When did the Bantams decide to leave? Because the other day's the first time I'd even
That's
had that
right.
discussion.
So last year, they did not have a show due to the bird flu outbreak. The government shut them down, wouldn't allow them to have those exhibitions, but, I found out actually that today. I called the contact for the Bantam Club just to get my facts straight before tonight, and, that was when I was, received that information, so that hurt, so.
Well, the question he asked was one I had, how many events a year? Because I wasn't sure. I knew there used to be 2 or 3 cave shows.
That's right.
A year out there.
Particularly when the fair was there. So and I think that's what pretty much everybody in this room relates that building to. I know when I was a kid, we'd go to the fair, we were showing cattle. There was a lot going on there, a lot of people in and out of the barn, seeing the youth in the county and seeing them exhibit their animals. When the fair left, I think that connection to the people of the county probably left with that. And I'm not so sure that's not part of the perception issue with the barn out there. When we have our meetings and our stuff, it's either on the weekends or it's 6, 7 o'clock at night. It's not when people are going by there. If you drive by there on a Tuesday afternoon at 2 o'clock, there's not going to be anything going on. But it's a great facility, and I'd love to see it utilized more.
What else can it be used for?
I guess the options are pretty endless.
Well, I was gonna ask
I
you
apologize
something.
because I ain't never been out there. So, other than when we had a fairgrounds back in the day.
Right.
But I was just wondering if it could be utilized for anything else as far as.
What is the extent of what that building could be used? What can we promote that building for as far as other calf shows or sheep shows?
That's right. All species of livestock that building would be sufficient.
Do you have enough? Well, I'll tell you what, how about me and you and a couple more sit down and let's put our heads together. We need to do something one way or the other. And I would rather do the one way rather than the other.
Right.
So, how about me and you talk and
won't it?
Be glad to.
Butch and Alan, vice chair.
Okay.
We'll get with you and you pick a couple more. See if we can come up with a solution to this problem.
I think we can handle that.
And I appreciate everybody coming. And the next time I want somebody here, I'm gonna put something like this on the agenda to get people in here.
I got something to say.
Okay.
It's known, and I've talked to Mr. Parnell. This building has been neglected by the commissioners as much as it has by the Cattlemen Association out there over the years. And that's why we're at the point where we are right now. Something minor could have been done years ago, such as some treating, spraying. I don't know. Let's water over the dam and talk about it. There is the youth that was out there this weekend, Commissioner Perkins, they're from all over the state. They're not, very few probably in Chilton County.
Yeah, I saw the pictures.
And if we're not careful, we're already shutting the youth down in this county for things to do. They have nowhere to go for anything except on a computer game somewhere. They either got to go out of this county. So if it's something that we can work out to get this building up to code, I like Joe's idea if we could work out of building a new one somewhere. That's going to take a little bit of time. And I think it needs to be done. And then we need to try to save this if any way possible that we can. Not just for the county revenue, but for these kids in this county and the surrounding counties. We got them coming from Watauga County, and I didn't make it out there Saturday, but I was there last year.
And I saw 6 different county tags. I look at the county tag numbers from anywhere I go around, and there was 6 different county, just that I saw when I looped in and looped out. Like, there is something in the works, Commissioner Billings. Like I said, I can't say for sure what it is. That's why this is probably gonna need to be a short-term solution to this.
That's fine.
In the long run, it's gonna be.
No, let me
It needs
ask,
to be more visible. It needs to be more visible than it is.
Yeah.
You got a great point.
let me
All
ask,
of us remember I'm sorry.
now go ahead.
All of us remember being out at the fair. It was one of the
Yeah.
great things to do, that and seeing all the jellies. It was amazing to me, all the jellies that you could see out there, you know. But I would love to see this thing sitting on 145 somewhere, or somewhere that's more visible. And there may be opportunity to discuss that here soon, but
Well, when you lose your county fair, you lose exposure to a bunch of youngins in this county who very seldom ever see a head of beef, a hog, a sheep, anything like that. Now you've got the confined area to most of you who raise cattle. That's the only place, that's the only youngins that see them. So I totally agree on the fair concept, and like I said, we'll do what we can.
Answer Commissioner Perkins' question. You haven't been out there. It has an indoor arena with bleachers. And he said like the kitchenette, or the kitchen is there, the restrooms are there. So to me, there are other things that could take place there as long as they meet our guidelines that we require if they're in one of our county buildings. I mean, it's a nice arena. You can go in the back door, or you can come in where the outside part is there and walk all the way around. So with the bleachers and all being there, we've already got a little arena there, and very few people know it. I think that's all I got. Thank you, Chairman.
All right.
Anything
thank you.
else?
Any more questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, got a notification from Kara Stallman, our grant writer, that we'll need to authorize me to sign the letter of acquisition for the 160 acres at Manuka Park tomorrow night. All right, all minds satisfied? Yep. Then this work session is adjourned. Tomorrow night at 6:30, our meeting.